Good afternoon. My name is Curt Gemme, and you are here on the Onward series, looking in with Erin Cabelus with CATIC Insurance. Welcome, Erin.
Thank you. Thanks
You're
for having
welcome.
me.
And so Erin has joined us today to talk a little bit about CATIC and what it does and how it helps us in the real estate industry to get our deals done successfully and expeditiously. And then share a little bit about her journey to CATIC over the course of time. So again, welcome, and it's nice to have you today.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And so, thanks. And so, go ahead and tell it. Title insurance.
Not the most exciting
This
topic.
is not a boring. This is not meant to be a boring segment on the Onward series. But so tell us a little bit about CATIC and title insurance and some of the great work you guys are doing also on the community side of things. So
Sure. Yeah. So CATIC stands for Connecticut Attorneys Title Insurance Company. So we were born in Connecticut we've been around for over 55 years, but we are a regional title insurance company, largest regional title insurance company. We are now licensed everywhere east of the Mississippi, plus Texas. And I think the cool thing about CATIC is that we're a bar-related title insurance company. And that's really important to us because our mission is to preserve and protect the role of the attorney in the closing process.
So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I had that question earlier. What does it mean to be bar-related in terms of how you're delivering those services?
That we do business only through our attorneys or independent title agents. So we don't do any direct business. All of the work we do is, again, through attorneys that are, policy issuing agents for our company.
Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt you on that,
Okay.
but continue to talk a little bit more about CATIC and the types of things that you are involved in Hartford and in the area.
Yeah. So, again, our roots are in Connecticut. So we've recently started a social justice initiative, which we call the Initiative. And really the initiative is trying to advance diversity, equity, inclusion, not only at CATIC, but to identify strategic partnerships to help advance those initiatives in our community as well. So, one of the big focuses of the initiative is to improve minority homeownership. So we've found some really incredible partnerships with Habitat for Humanity, SINA, which is Southside Institutions Neighborhood Alliance. And also we've had a more public relationship with Liberty Bank and the city of Hartford. Liberty Bank had a Good Neighbor Plus program that we are assisting with. So really trying to bring kind of CATIC's resources to our community to help, different initiatives.
Excellent. I'd love to learn more about that. And how would we learn more about that? Is there anything on the website that would lead us to that initiative?
Yeah. We have a link on our website, and that's open to the public. We also recently published a report because diversity, equity, inclusion is really important to CATIC. I'm also a member of CREW, and CREW has a pledge for action, again, trying to advance women, especially in the commercial real estate space. So CATIC has taken that pledge. I'm proud to announce that. And we have a report just showing some metrics and showing some of the things we're doing internally and externally to meet that pledge.
Nice.
So that's all available, on our website.
Okay, very good. I sort of jumped around a little bit into the initiative. And so tell us, in the early days, CATIC was really set up to do more residential type work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when did, and I know you got involved in the commercial side. So talk a little bit about that evolution of CATIC.
Yeah, well, we're always looking to grow and expand. So, we do both residential and commercial real estate. Our agents do both residential and commercial real estate. And we're proud to do both. I think we are just trying to expand our commercial operations. We are your neighbor right over there in City Place.
City Place, yes.
City Place, 37th floor. We got some pretty cool views. You should come check them out.
Nice.
But I think the idea is just to kind of continue to grow and evolve, not only in our footprint, expand, territorially, but, within the type of deals we're doing. So I think we're positioned well to be able to offer something a little bit different on the commercial side because, we're growing, we're big enough and strong enough as a company to get some of the bigger deals done. But we are also, I would say, strong and flexible enough to be creative and nimble in some of our decision making and get creative in how we, manage to get deals
Gotcha.
done.
I know you can't talk about all your deals,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it is fun to think about the different things
Yeah.
that you've been involved with here in Hartford and some of the developments that are very
Yeah.
public facing. Talk a little bit about your journey personally, and because I think what was impressive to me is the experience that you bring to the table and how it's, you're not in sales, you might be in business development and growth and eventually that ultimately, quote unquote, looks like sales.
Yeah.
But your experience and background is important to the role that you play today. So talk about that journey from New York Law School to where you are today.
Yeah. Well, we always joke that, nobody necessarily intends to go into title insurance, because I think we were having this kind of conversation earlier. What is title insurance? And we haven't really gone into that. But I was always very interested in real estate. I worked, while I was going to law school, I worked for a boutique law firm that really focused on affordable housing. So I just had an interest in real estate. After graduating law school, I worked at various law firms and really did focus on the transactional side of the practice. So residential commercial real estate, business law, corporate law, and some estate planning and such. And then just was fortunate to kind of get pulled into the title side of things. And when I came to CATIC, I wasn't necessarily doing the lawyering,
Right.
but I think my experience helps me in my role, and my role in business development and being an agency advisor. I'm helping attorneys, helping to educate, helping them to grow their business, and just making sure they've got the support and the service they need from CATIC to do what they do best.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What talk about CATIC, the size of CATIC? I know you have your headquarters down in Rocky Hill. You've got your commercial office here. What is the dynamics of CATIC from a human perspective?
Human perspective.
Human. You're humans.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you talk about diversity, and so I'm just curious. And I know how long is I call him the newer president? How long has he been with the organization?
So Jim Sapiga, don't quote me on this, but I have to say probably around 7 years, because I think I've been with CATIC for about 5 years, and I know he was there for a few years prior.
Okay.
So I think it's really just to take our model again, which is supporting the role of the attorney and the independent title agent in the closing process, and trying to grow that and build that. So we're very intentional about the places we move into.
Yeah.
We've got a whole team at CATIC that analyzes the different states and making sure it's a good fit. We don't want to just be there to be there. We want to make sure it's a good fit for what we're trying to accomplish and what we're trying to do, and to make sure we could find the right talent to support our initiatives in that footprint as well. So yeah.
Is that are you hopeful to have offices in different states?
Yeah.
How does that look today?
Yeah, we do. I mean, we don't have physical locations in all the states in which we're licensed. And we are kind of looking at it, I think, from a more regional perspective. We are growing pretty quickly, and it's just happened very organically because we have a great team in place, talking about that human capital, right? We have a really great team in place in our southeastern states. So Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, that region is kind of growing quickly. So that's kind of more of a regional model. And I think it just depends on the location, what works best for that spot. But we have boots on the ground in a lot of the other states and physical locations.
So a typical day for you, going out and into the market and kind of doing your what does that look like? You said you do travel around and do outreach and so forth to the attorney population. What does that look like for you on a day in and day out basis?
Every day is a little different, which is cool, right? Allows me to get to do this stuff too.
Right.
But so I have agents I'm responsible for, that I'm an agency advisor for.
Okay.
So, I'm going into their offices and just making sure they have everything they need, helping support them, helping them, especially we're in a little bit of a down market on the residential side, seeing if there's anything, we could do to help them grow their business. But also identifying prospects, even attorneys and or, developers that might be interested in working with CATIC. So trying to get a name out there, maybe, I like to consider myself a brand ambassador too,
right.
Spreading the word about CATIC. And I'm proud of what we do. So it's an easy sell. And also just, getting involved in some community initiatives and different organizations. I'm very involved in Crew as well, and just trying to kind of be out and about.
Right. So we've had a good relationship with Crew,
Yeah.
and hosted some events. Let's give them a little bit of a shout out.
Yeah,
Just give a little bit
absolutely.
of just a quick Crew, 2 minutes on a little bit about your experience with Crew and
Yeah.
what Crew is.
Okay, so Crew stands for Commercial Real Estate Women. So we've got Crew is a global network, but we've got a Crew Connecticut chapter, and Crew is essentially trying to advance women and improve diversity, equity, inclusion in the commercial real estate space. So advancing women in commercial real estate is really their objective. So, but it's not a women's only organization. I think Crew Connecticut actually was the first chapter to have a male president. So
That's right. I think you're right.
Yeah, but it's an incredible network of women supporting women, trying to help each other with business opportunities, professional growth, development, networking. But we, welcome men who are also, interested in advancing women in the commercial real estate space. So,
Awesome.
we do a lot of fun things.
The 5-minute overview of what is title insurance?
What is title insurance? So I guess the lawyerly explanation is title insurance, provides protection against financial loss for any kind of title defects or claims related to your property, right? The land. And so, simply put, if you bought a piece of property and, someone's down the road, you get a tax bill and it's from, something was unpaid, but it was from the previous owner. That is something that, should have come to light, but it didn't for whatever reason. So that is an example of something that title insurance might cover. Or, your neighbor comes to you and, out of nowhere claims that maybe your fence is encroaching on that property. Again, that's something that title insurance might cover. And a lot of people confuse title insurance, sometimes with homeowners insurance, which differs. Obviously, homeowners insurance, insures the physical structure of the property, and it's it looks about what's happening in the future, right? It's prospective, where title insurance is retrospective. It's looking back. It's looking back at the legal history of the property, the chain of title, and any kind of defects that existed prior to the date of the policy.
And do they still do title searches at the town hall? Is that how that works?
They do, yes, yeah. Some towns are online.
Right.
We're a little slow to, I think with some of that technological advancement. It's tricky. We are a state, we've got 169 towns, right? Other states operate where it's county to county, and it makes it a little easier. It's a little tricky, man. You should have seen it during COVID. With all the shutdowns, that was wild. So kudos to our title services team. I mean, what they were able to pull off is just simply incredible.
It's not like the business slowed down; it got more busy.
No, it got busy.
Yeah,
so the ability to adapt and kind of survive during that time was pretty incredible.
I remember looking for some site plans and things up in the town of Suffield, and so I called up to the office. She said, "Okay, great. You just come into the parking lot. You call me when you're here." And we're going to send that stuff right out to you.
Yeah.
And so it's obviously a very different time. I'm glad to be back into a more of normalcy.
Yeah. I mean, we had, attorneys doing closings at picnic tables and getting really creative and how they got the deals done. So really, again, kudos to everybody that, managed to get that volume done during that period of time.
It's a lot of volume.
It's just crazy. I actually had one attorney's office. It was located in an old bank. So they had, they used the drive-through, the drive-through window to do closings. I thought that was pretty creative.
Yeah, that is creative.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So obviously we understand the residential side of the business, but talk about your office here at City Place, where CATIC Commercial is, and what was the initiative and the drive for that?
Yeah. So CATIC Commercial, we're right across the way. Yeah, at 37 City Place. Pretty cool views up there. But really, we wanted to expand our commercial services. So our CATIC Commercial office, will handle escrows, settlement services, post-closing. We'll do post-closing escrows. We've got a 1031 department that will handle 1031 exchanges.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and we'll insure cannabis transactions. So we try to, be full service, one-stop shopping, be able to kind of cover anything that you could possibly need with regard to a commercial transaction. So, and again, we are
large enough and strong enough to be able to handle the big deals, but strong enough, small enough and flexible enough to kind of be able to meet the needs of the particulars of locations and be creative in kind of some of our solutions.
Very good. All right. So thanks for talking about that.
Yeah,
And again, thanks for being here.
thank you.
All right.